Breaking news! The Patriot Act, signed by former President George W. Bush, has been overpowered by President Obama's USA Freedom Act, revoking the NSA's authority to collect phone records from millions of Americans. Let's go to Tessa Mott for the full story.
Thanks, Lily. That's right. The Congress has passed the U.S. Freedom Act, which abolishes the bulk collection of phone records of American citizens by the National Security Agency. The enactment of the Patriots Act in 2001 by President George W. Bush in response to 9/11 gave the NSA the authority to collect all phone records of Americans daily. This new Freedom Act has been the first time since 9/11 that restraints have been put on any national security surveillance program in the U.S. While most of the provisions of the Patriots Act were due to expire, the U.S. Freedom Act extends three. The first, Section 215, which allowed the bulk collection of the phone records, will go back into effect, but the new law limits that collection. The government can gather from the phone records up to 2 hops, meaning that they can investigate a suspect's contacts and their contacts' connections. The roving wiretap provision will go back into effect, which allows the government to eavesdrop on suspects who discard their phones frequently. Lastly, the never-used lone wolf provision will go into effect, which allows the government to collect intelligence on suspects with no affiliation to a known terrorist organization. All 3 provisions are set to expire December of 2019. NSA officials have released that they will resume collecting phone records, during which time they will try to figure out an effective way to identify and collect suspected terrorist information without gathering all of our phone records. Apparently, they will still be rooting around in the records, but will not be collecting. Obama administration officials have not said what has been decided to do with the existing records or whether they will continue searching them.
I think the Freedom Act is a huge improvement in privacy laws. The Patriot Act took the situation of foreign surveillance to a domestic level, breaching millions of Americans' privacy and disrespecting the Fourth Amendment, protecting the right of security in person and possessions. The Freedom Act seems to be a medium between restoring our privacy and keeping us safe from domestic terrorist threats. I am content with what Obama and his administration has done to respect Americans' rights.
So my opinion about the Freedom Act is that I feel like we are honored and fortunate to live in this country, and as a result of that, I feel like the government does its best to try to protect our rights.
Basically, I feel that the Freedom Act took the Patriot Act and said, guys, we can't stay that out of bounds in the terms of our Constitution. It's unconstitutional, the Patriot Act, in my opinion. I think a lot of people's opinion. So, you know, what the progressives, the Democrats tend to do is they bring that back into roughly constitutional boundaries.
Well, personally, I feel that the Patriot Act went much too far in taking away our Fourth Amendment rights. It was great when the USA Freedom Act was enacted. However, we still have got many grounds under which unreasonable search of our information can be enacted. It's good that no longer can our wiretap or our telephone information be used unless there is reasonable cause.
If there's a question when it comes to access to my personal information, I'm personally, speaking for myself only, I'm comfortable with that. Because there's nothing that I do that would fall out of the realm of dishonesty or corruption or anything like that. So I don't feel like there should be access. I think it should be on an as-needed basis, and so it's not like a freedom, a transparent freedom at all times. It's on a case-by-case basis that needs to be approved and justified.
At what level is it okay for us to monitor people's phone calls?
I believe the Freedom Act is a good step forward in changing the government for the better, but it is hard to trust the accuracy of what we are being told. The fact that we didn't know about the Patriot Act until recently shows how secretive and corrupt the government is. The NSA is exploiting technical advances, and we need our legal constraints to restore our privacy. The Freedom Act is the beginning of what we need in our government. Most of the information we receive through media is false, and we never really know what is going on in the inner workings of our government, which seems to be disregarding our rights and what our country stands for.
And there you have it, folks, the history of today from Mott News. Have a good one.